So we're on. What we're going to look at, we're going to look at directed numbers. Now, I have the feeling that everyone's pretty comfortable with this section, directed numbers. I think everyone's pretty okay. Is it recording? You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
You're so handsome.
All right, I've been called worse. Okay, so directed numbers. Okay, directed numbers. I can spell too, all right? Okay, directed numbers. Right? Directed numbers. Okay, you all right with that?
Yep.
Okay. So, with directed numbers, there's 4 operations. Yes? And let's look at each operation. Okay? There is addition, subtraction, which we'll kind of ignore. I may confuse you, but we'll call, you know what subtraction is, right? All right. And then there's multiplication and division, which is also something we're going to talk about, okay? All right, so let's look at addition first. Directed numbers, what is another name for a directed number? Anybody? Yes?
Specific number?
No, not specific. Like if I say, this is 1 marker, is that a directed number?
Yeah.
No, it's a natural number. In other words, is it a positive 1 or negative 1 or just 1? It's just 1. Is it positive 1? No, it's just 1, right? It's a natural number. Remember natural numbers?
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at something in physics. This is not as crazy as it sounds. Okay? That's what we're going to call that a velocity vector. What? We're going to call it velocity. Now you're doing this year in science. You're going to be doing this. Okay? Now, meaning, let's say this car is going 60 meters per second. Let's say. Okay? It's pretty fast, don't you think?
Yeah.
In 1 second, it's going 60 meters. Pretty fast. Okay. Well, it's going that way, right? Yes or no? Okay. We say that that's positive 60 meters per second, which means it's 60 meters per second. If I look down at my speedometer, it says 60 meters per second, right? But the plus sign means it's going that way. Okay? Yes or no? Let's say we have a car going this way, 60 meters per second. What direction is that going? It's going that way. It's negative, right? So that's a directed number. You see that? That's made of 2 things. It's made of a direction, that way negative, that way positive. Call it an integer, right? Integer, you've heard of integers? Yes or no? No? Okay. Integer is a directed number. An integer, right? So, do you understand that has anybody ever been in a car? Has anybody ever been on something that moves? A car, a moto, a bicycle, something. So, you've all gone a certain speed, correct?
Yes.
Good. Well, this 60 meters per second is called the speed. The positive is called the direction. Plus 60 meters per second is called the velocity. So you have the opportunity to have a physics teacher who teaches math as well. right? So when you say directed numbers, a directed number has two things. It has a size, a magnitude, okay? It also has a direction. So instead of saying plus and minus, I could say what? I could say the plane is going 600 meters per second northeast, southwest, north, south. It's going 40 degrees with the horizontal. It's going 0 degrees, which means straight up in navigation terms. It means due north. If something's traveling 0 degrees, in terms of navigation, it's traveling due north. Did you know that? Due north. Change the heading, bearing, 12 degrees. That's 12 degrees. Right? So if I'm going, that's due north is 0 degrees. And then if I'm going due east, it's going to be 90 degrees. Right? Then I'm going to go south, it's 180 degrees. You see that? It's different than we won't go into that. But what I'm saying to you is you can have velocity or speed and direction. You can have it in all different ways as long as both are there. As long as you have the direction, either positive, negative, northwest, northeast, south, north, west, east, or it could be degrees, it could be navigation, it could be a variety of things. You have to define your terms. Okay? A little crazy, but do you not make sense? Yes, strangely? Like I said, has anybody ever been on a bus, a car, a moto, anything? So you understand the concept of, I'm going north on Monivong. I'm going north, or I'm going south. Does that make sense? You have, I'm going 30 meters per second on Monivong south. Right? Yes or no? Where are we relative to the riverfront? Are we north, south, east, or west right now? By the river, by the Mekong River. Where are we? We're west of it, right? Aren't we? Like due west, aren't we? So if you say you want to go to the river and I'm going to travel on a moto 30 meters per second,
That's still fast.
where would you go?
West.
No, from here. If you want to go to the river, you would travel due east, right?
Oh yeah, opposite of west.
There you go. So meters per second, 30 meters per second, east. 30 meters per second is the speed. East is the direction. Together it's called what? Velocity. Now you can have something in terms of directed numbers. You can have something very simple. Very simple. You could look at a number line. 0, positive 1, positive 2, negative 1, negative 2. Okay? What's the distance between 0 and negative 2? What's the distance? What's the magnitude? I didn't say the direction. What is the distance between 0 and negative 2?
2.
2. That's right. 2. What's the distance between 0 and positive 2? 2. Is the distance between 0 and negative 2 the same as the distance between 0 and positive 2?
Yes.
Yes. What is the distance between 0 and 2 places to the left of 0? What is the direction between 0 and 2 places to the left of 0? No, what is the direction? Negative. Not negative 2. Negative. I asked you, what's the direction if you go 2 places to the left of 0? I said, what's the direction to the left? Right? What's the direction? Negative. What's the direction if you go 2 places to the right of 0? Positive. Direction, magnitude or size. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, you all right with that?
Yes.
Okay. Next, let's look at addition. Okay? I want to say 2 plus 2. This is a positive 2. This is a positive 2. Positive 4. I get positive 4. What about 8 plus 4? 12. Easy?
Yes.
Kind of silly? A little silly? Because these are all positive numbers, right?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, what about this? What about 8 plus 8 plus negative 4? Isn't that addition? How do you know that?
Because we studied it last year.
You studied it last year. Very good. Okay. So, you get this? Yes or no? Okay. What about this? Let's talk about subtraction. What happens if I had this? Let's say 4 minus
Positive 5.
Negative 1. Negative 1.
Negative 1.
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Negative 1.
Oh, I see some discussion here.
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Because 4, negative, positive 4 is smaller than positive 5.
So how do you do this on a number line?
Yeah, to put. Yeah.
So it's going to go positive 4 here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now I want to go subtract, which means that way, right?
Yeah.
See how it's a direction, right? Go, pretty cool. I'm going to go negative. I want to go positive 5 spaces, but that way. A little weird, huh?
Yeah.
A little weird. So I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4,
Remainder 1.
negative 1. Did I just hear thunder outside?
Yes.
I didn't hear anything.
Hopefully the rain will hold off. Nothing worse than riding a moto in the rain.
Oh, I have to
Riding
go
a bicycle,
home on the
but it's
moto
not the
today.
bicycle is slower than a motor.
I have to go home on the moto today.
That's a very good point. Okay, now. All right, now. What happens if I have this? What happens if I have this? You ready? We're still doing subtraction. So 4 minus 4 minus
4 minus 4.
a minus 8.
Minus 4.
It would be 4.
Negative 4.
No, negative.
Negative 12.
I don't understand.
No, it would be 4.
Negative
If you do
Negative 12.
positive, negative minus negative will equal a positive.
4. Negative.
Negative 12. Negative, wait. Negative 12. Negative 12.
No, if negative 4. It'll be
Negative
positive.
12.
It's just negative is negative addition is this way and minus is that way. So it goes so it moves to the positive.
Negative 4.
Positive.
Negative
12.
Negative?
What they're saying is this. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. I'm going to use a word that I learned. It's called, and I love this word,
Addition. Additive inverse. Inverse.
additive inverse. Well, you know what the additive inverse is? Did you learn that? What's it mean, additive inverse?
Inverse is when you reverse. Like.
This is when you say that there's really no subtraction. Everything is a combination. So you're taking negative 4 and you're combining it with the additive inverse of negative 8.
Negative minus.
You see, this This isn't, look guys, this is very important. What happened?
No battery.
Low battery, okay, I can fix that, But do you see what this is saying? This is saying, let's talk about combination instead of subtraction. This is saying, let me show you how this reads. -4 combined with the additive inverse of -8. What's the additive inverse of -8? +8. So you're going to get +4, right? You get it? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Is there somebody trying to get in?
No,
What
there's
was that?
somebody and the door moved from the. Somebody.
Oh.
Oh, the door opened.
The door open. Guys, it's because of the wind outside. Let's put it on pause. I'll make another video and we'll talk about additive inverse, okay? All right?
We're out.
We're out. We're out.
You always do.
I locked the door.